With Nick Allegretti after day 2 of training camp. How was your summer, man? And I'm sure you're excited to be back playing a little ball, but how was the offseason for you?
Man, it was great. I was really excited to get out here to OTAs, get my feet set here, and then, found a place to live, and then was able to go back to Chicago and enjoyed the time with the family. I got 2 daughters, and it was awesome, and now they'll be down in a week, so it'll feel real. The whole family will be here. It'll be good.
Nice. For you, have you got any time to kind of explore the area, do anything? Because I know guys are pretty in and out, come in for practice, leave. Is that something you want to do, or are you just I'm here to play football? How are you treating kind of this new home for the first time for you as a pro?
It was a lot of house hunting over the summer. So explored the area, not in the best way, but I definitely got around. Went over to D.C. for a day, met a buddy that works in town, and went to a few of the monuments. I'm a big history guy, so I do enjoy that area. And then the goal is to get out to a few of the battlefields.
Nice. I know you didn't know you're a history guy. I know you're a big coin guy.
Yeah, so they're 1-1.
Yeah. How did the coin collection, the coin habit start, if you will?
So I, as a kid, I always loved wheat pennies because they're 1958 and before. They're Lincoln head, but the wheat back, and you could find them in change. So I was like, man, it's so cool. You can find a different penny in change. It's worth about 2 or 3 cents. I'm making money every time I find it, and I thought it was cool. And then one of my buddies. His grandfather unfortunately passed away, and he had a big collection. So we went through it. We brought it to a coin store, and I think the owner of the coin store knew how interested I was. He could tell, so he took probably 3 or 4 hours going through every coin, telling me what it was, and gave me a magazine when I left, and I was hooked. That was about 13, 14 years ago probably, and just been a great hobby to remove myself from the football life when I need to and enjoy that.
What would you say is the gem of your collection?
That'd be an 1893 S Morgan silver dollar, lowest mintage of the normal Morgan State or Morgan set. Morgans are you guys have probably seen them, but you wouldn't know what it is. It's a silver dollar. It's got a beautiful front, beautiful back. It's one of the most well-designed coins that we probably ever did, and then. So that's my main set, and that's my favorite coin.
Do you have do you know if you can take tours of the U.S. Mint? Because that's here, right?
Yes, you can. And then there's also at the Smithsonian they have, and I've been before, but they have some incredible coins. We're hoping to later in the year, maybe towards November, do some type of charity event around bringing some kids out to the Smithsonian and getting to look at some history pieces, maybe some vets because it's in November. So we're hoping to get something like that going and I love coins and I love teaching people about them, and even if they're not going to dive into the hobby, it's cool for me to talk to other people about them and see that they have a little bit of interest. It's worth it. No,
that's very cool. I can see the passion you have for it. Yeah. I love that. Nick Allegretti with us here on the Hoffman Show. So your other passion, I was told, is sports radio. You like listening to goofballs like me, specifically Danny Parkins up at 670 The Score in Chicago. How did you get into sports radio? And at some point as a professional athlete, did you kind of go, why do I still listen to this?
So wrestling was how I got into it. Every weekend as a kid, you wake up at 4:30, you got to drive to a wrestling tournament for weigh-ins, and I'd be groggy as heck, me, my mom, my brother, and then my dad's driving. And my dad's driving, he controls the radio, and it was The Score, it was Mad Dog Radio, it was just sports radio the entire time there, the entire time back. Every time I was in the car with my pop, sports radio. Sports is how, me and my brother, my dad, and my mom, that's how we bonded. We love sports. And just listening we're big Chicago sports fans. We're diehards. Obviously had to give the Bears fandom up for the time being, but just love listening to people talk about sports, listen to opinions. Me and my brother, that's a terrible opinion, and we argue it. It's fun. Sports are, fortunately they are my profession, but it's been my whole life, and just love listening to it, talking about it.
Cubs or Sox?
Sox all day. Only me and my brother, only 2 in the family. Everyone else is. Oh. The entire extended family and the 2 families my brother and I married into, all Cubs fans. Me and my brother held strong, though.
Interesting. And, got to have it. Especially as an O-lineman. I feel like that's one of the great traits. So, obviously, coming here from Kansas City, what are the things that you want to take from, obviously, what was a tremendous, dynastic run in Kansas City, but some of the core tenets that you think help that, besides Patrick Mahomes is an alien who's very good at playing football, that you want to bring here to Washington and help implement as DQ and everybody kind of implements the new culture here?
I think the biggest thing that I took is just the competitive nature that those guys had over there. It was every single day the best players on the team were competing the hardest. And that's how it has to be. It has to be, the guys that are trying to make the team, they're competing their butt off, but they're looking over there and they're a 22, 23-year-old rookie being outworked by a multiple-time MVP, and it's like, I got to work harder. And setting that standard of having the older guys, the more experienced guys being the hardest working guys on the team, it drives those young guys, and the young guys continue to drive the old guys, and it's a really good cycle. I would say the competitive nature that they took to just every day, practice, walkthrough, basketball in the locker room, whatever we were playing, they competed, they had fun, and it really makes what is a very hard sport a lot of fun.
For you going this year, you were a role player there. Obviously, was able to step up in the Super Bowl, which is a neat trick. But going to that full-time starter, like what changes for you day to day, and then what stays the same day to day?
Yeah, I'm here to compete for that left guard spot. I want that spot. I'm not going to be comfortable and say that I have that spot yet. I got to go win that spot, and that's my goal of this training camp. I'd say the one difference is preparing daily more for one position. For 5 years, I was preparing for right, left, and center every single day, and did a lot of moving inter practice. So it is a little nice to get to play one position per day, and hopefully one position for the whole season. That's the biggest thing, and then the other added aspect is when you move throughout the O-line, your body stays a little balanced. Playing one position, some things will start to, your left side or your right side will get a little bit more sore. So staying on top of recovery and, managing that is going to be a new challenge for me that I'm excited about. And I'm just excited for this year.
Is that something you work on with Bobby? Is it something you work on with Chad? That balance element is something you just know you do yourself in the weight room? How's that process go?
It's just something I've had an old high school teammate who's got a practice back home, does a great job. He just helped me with moving my joints, and that's something I do every day, making sure my joints are moving the right way so that the muscles and everything that we train can do their job. And then there's a pretty easy evaluation system, and you go through it every morning and you feel, left hip's tight or right knee's a little sore, and then you've got a further game plan from that. So I've developed a pretty good system, and, I think I've got a good game plan for the year.
Nick Allegretti with us, another minute or two here on the Hoffman Show. I'm so curious to hear your first impressions of Bobby Johnson. He was a name that I think a lot of fans were like, wait, the guy from New York? Because they've had such mixed results the last couple of years. Obviously did a great job developing a guy like Andrew Thomas. There's been some success there. Also, last year was really rough for them. They had a ton of injuries. What's been your first impression of Bobby and the things that you think DQ and Cliff saw in him that made them want to bring him here and coach you guys up?
God, I know he's fired up. He is a ball of energy every single day. Which is not always the case for offensive line coaches. Sometimes, offensive line could be a little bit more of a drier position, but he is fired up every single day. You can tell that he cares about what he's doing. He cares about helping each of the 15 offensive linemen we have here get better. And every time that one offensive lineman gets better, the whole group gets better because we continue to push each other. Pardon my French, but last year. Last year's last year. We've all moved on. I've moved on. I'll take what I learned from those guys. Bobby's learned a ton through the many places he's been. Had a lot of success throughout his career. He's head offensive line coach in this league for a reason, and really enjoyed the few months we've had with him so far.
Last but not least, I have to ask, what's the freakiest thing you ever saw Mahomes do in a practice?
What? I
feel like he's got like six clips from training camp already this year.
I know listen, he is incredible, and that's one thing, I leave that behind me, but love the guy. Absolutely helped me in my career and, has helped change my life. The craziest thing for me is that he'll do screwing around at practice in a competitive nature, so not messing around, but he'll just see something and go out behind the back and under the leg, a no look, and then he'll be like, that kind of felt all right. And then we'll go to the game week and we'll practice it that way. And, that's kind of how back in the day when I was able to catch a pass, he would throw it to me at practice because it was fun. He'd throw it behind the back, whatever, because it's fun to watch the big guy catch a ball. And then we get to the game and I was actually open. So he's like, screw it, threw me the ball. So it's the messing around, having fun, and then being like, I think I could do that in the game. It'll really screw with some guys. So it's incredible.
That's what makes sports fun, though, right? The creativity, the problem solving, that is what sports is at its core.
Absolutely. I think that's one thing that he's brought back to football is the rigid nature of quarterback that was developing probably through the early 2000s, he blew it up.
Yeah.
Showed up and, footwork is what it is, and, you got different arm angles, and he's running his little circles, and, he brought creativity back to the sport, and look what it's changed so many quarterbacks. It's brought new quarterbacks into the league. Jaden, the way he's able to play, I know that him and Pat have been in contact for the past couple of years. I think he randomly reached out and probably been a huge help. And, it's really cool what he's done to the sport. This sport has been my life. It's incredible. And over the past 5 years, he's definitely changed it.
Yeah, no doubt. This would be a good sports radio topic, too, the creativity of the quarterback position. There, he's programming for us now. Nick Allegretti, appreciate you, sir. Thank you.
Absolutely appreciate you guys.
Hey, this is DA, and you're listening to The Hoffman Show on the Team 980 and the Odyssey app.